Hey there, welcome to another episode of Learning English with Celebrities. You're watching Fluency Goals. I'm Mandeep. The celebrity that I have picked to learn English with today is a very good orator, an accomplished Bollywood actor who has made a big name for herself not only in Bollywood but also internationally. She is Priyanka Chopra. So I'll be playing some video clips from her interview and we'll be learning some really advanced words and phrases, the meaning of those words and phrases, and how we can use them in our everyday English conversations. So hang in there with me, stick to the end of this lesson if you really want to advance your English language. So what are we waiting for? Let's quickly jump into the lesson.
In the last few years, I think ever since I started a family, before that I was a workhorse. I think I'd never had any work-life balance, honestly. Before that I was a workhorse.
A workhorse. A workhorse. Now, when you call someone or something a workhorse, you mean to say that that somebody or that something does a lot of hard work and without any complaints. So, if you call somebody, some person from your team as a workhorse, you mean to say that they work continuously towards achieving the team's goals without any complaints. Now consider here an old laptop that has an outdated system, but yet to provide the results, to provide the work, to get the work done, you depend on it and it continuously does that hard work but provides you the results. So that is a workhorse. That laptop is a workhorse because it is continuously with a lot of efforts providing you with the results, even though it is an old one and it has to run really hard to provide those results. This old laptop is a real workhorse. It still handles all my video editing. She's the workhorse of our team, always getting things done behind the scenes. Alright, so let's move on to the next one.
But as I'm getting older, I think I've reached a place in my life where I prioritize it. I think it's really crucial for me, for my mental health, for anyone to feel a semblance of like we're living and not just
To feel a semblance of. Now, when you say that you felt a semblance of something, you mean to say that you felt just a bit of something. Now, this bit can be a bit of peace, a bit of control, or some joy. So, to feel a small amount of something is called to feel a semblance of something. Let's use it in some sentences. After organizing my messy desk, I finally felt a semblance of control. His nervous laugh gave a semblance of confidence, but I knew he was scared. So that means gave a semblance of confidence means gave a bit of confidence. Even with everything going wrong, coffee gave me a semblance of normalcy. So when everything is going awry and things are not going as you wish them to, sometimes you just take a moment to grab that cup of coffee. So it gives you a bit of normalcy. Let's move on.
I think exhaustion is glorified a lot in our professional lives, that you have to work till you're grinded until you're exhausted and that's when you'll succeed. I disagree. Till you're grinded until you're exhausted.
Now, to say someone's grinded, it means that they have worked really hard. Grinded means to work really hard. So when someone's grinded, they have worked really hard and often through very tough situations, very difficult circumstances. Now think of those Zomato or Swiggy delivery boys who have to deliver food to your doorstep, braving every kind of weather condition, whether it's stormy, whether it's sunny, whether it's rainy. So they have really grinded. Let's form some sentences using this phrase. I have grinded through late nights just to clear my exams. I'm a small YouTuber. I know I have to grind for a couple of years here before I get recognized. I hope I do get recognized though. Rachel in Friends grinded her way from working in a cafe to a manager at a fashion store. Alright, let's move on.
At 7:32 p.m. or a.m. You know, it depends on what time you were wrapped the night before. There's no room to play, unless you're working with a filmmaker that does that. Room to play,
When you say there's no room to play in something, you mean to say there is no flexibility or there is no margin for mistakes in that thing. Imagine you're working on a project and you are on a very tight budget. You cannot afford to make any mistakes there, and you cannot lose even a penny there. So you can say in that project there is no room to play. That means there is no room to make any mistakes. Let's form some sentences. We are running out of time. There's no room to play now. This exam needs 90% to pass. There's no room to play with silly mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I've now done it for almost 25 years, you know. It's high time I get picky. It's high time I get picky. It's high time I get picky.
It's a high time. It's a high time. When you say that it's a high time for something, you mean to say it's the right time to do that thing. So that means it has long been overdue. Something that was supposed to be done long back, and it is now the right time to do it. It's high time I started saving some money. It's high time we stop making excuses and join the gym. So, do you think there's anything in your life that you need to resolve now, and it's now is the time to do it? So, what is it that you say it's the high time to do something in your life? Do let me know.
I mean, when I joined, let's take it back in time, early 2000s, right? Even female-led films or parts for women were very wallflowery, and we used to get proud about the fact that we've got that part where you're like, oh my gosh, I have 3 songs and I have 4 scenes. It's great. Very wallflowery. Very wallflowery.
Very wallflowery. Wallflowery. When something is wallflowery, just consider that it's not in the spotlight. It is there to be just as a decorative piece to stand in the background. Here Priyanka is calling the actresses of old Bollywood movies as very wallflowery. So she means to say that they did not have much to do, and they were projected as very shy, and they did not get the roles, very good roles with substance, and they were just to stay in the background as a decorative piece, and who are very shy and very timid. Let's use this phrase in some sentences. I felt very wallflowery at the networking event. Everyone already knew each other. This means that I felt like very much who will stay in the background and who doesn't have any spotlight, doesn't have any task to do, because everyone already knew them. She's outgoing online but very wallflowery in person. So what does this sentence mean? This means that if you have an online, a virtual meeting with her, then she appears very outgoing and very extrovert. But if you meet her in person, then she is very laid back and an introvert and very shy. He was a bit wallflowery in college, but really opened up later in life. So we all know that somebody, who is very shy, very timid in certain periods of time, especially in college or in school, but later in the years, they open up and they turn extrovert. Do you know anybody who is wallflowery? Let's move on.
But I feel like my generation of actors, with the help of the women that came before us and fought the fight, really pivoted it for Indian films, really pivoted it for,
To pivot something for. Pivot something for. When you pivot something for something else, you mean to say that you are changing the direction or the course of something. Now, why would you do that? Why would you change the direction or the journey, the course of something? Because maybe your goals have changed, your ambitions have changed. Let's consider a bakery that used to sell cakes, but during the COVID lockdown, it could not sell any cakes, so it had to sell online baking courses in order to sustain itself. So that is changing the course, changing the direction, because the goal is now survival. So that will be called a pivot. Let's take some example sentences. We had to pivot our product for a younger audience. I'm pivoting my Instagram page for travel content now. So that means you might be making some other content earlier, but now it is going to be about travel. So we see many brands pivoting their messages also to suit a wider audience. Take for example Fair and Lovely. It had to pivot its messaging to suit all the skin types. Let's move on.
into the industry. It's really opened up the avenues for creators and writers and directors and actors from outside the pool of the film industry, from outside the pool of the film industry,
Outside the pool of. Now, when something is outside the pool of something, it means that it is not part of that group or that category anymore. Say your college, it gives scholarships for only science students, but you are an art student. So you are outside the pool of scholarship. So you are out of that category. Let's take some example sentences. I was outside the pool of people they selected for the trip. This offer is for the premium members only. I am outside the pool. That means I don't fall into the category of premium members. Let's move on.
And makeup somehow allows us to feel our best versions of ourselves in many ways, and any beauty, like any form of grooming or beauty, not just makeup, to feel our best versions of ourselves in many ways, to feel our best versions of ourselves in many ways.
To be the best version of oneself. When you are the best version of yourself, you mean that you are living your life in a very healthy, very confident manner and the way you have always wanted to. So it's really the best of you that is right now, the best version of yourself. I wake up early and journal now, trying to be the best version of myself. Being the best version of yourself is a daily process. So you cannot be the best version of yourself just in a day. You have to continuously work towards that. So tell me, is there any activity, is there any particular thing that when you do it, then you feel like you are the best version of yourself? Do let me know in the comment section.
Is there something else that you feel like you still want to work on, or a particular area?
You're creating a glass ceiling for me now, Naina. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You're creating a glass ceiling for me now, Naina. Don't do that.
A glass ceiling. A glass ceiling. A glass ceiling is like that invisible barrier, because it's a glass ceiling. No, you cannot see it, but it is there. So it is that invisible barrier that prevents someone to achieve their goals or from getting the top positions. So we use it especially in context of women or minorities. The company is working to break the glass ceiling in leadership. Now here it means that the leadership positions have not been attained by maybe women or minority people, but the company is working towards breaking that glass ceiling. She left her job because she hit the glass ceiling. That means the topmost level that she could reach being a woman, she has already reached there, and she knows that further it's a glass ceiling and there's a barrier that she cannot break. So that's why she left the job. Moving on.
Almost everybody that we have worked with have been like new filmmakers looking for a springboard to jump off of. I didn't have that when I started in the industry, and a springboard to jump off of. A springboard to jump off of.
A springboard to jump off. A springboard to jump off. When you say that you have got a springboard to jump off, you mean to say that you have got a starting point for bigger opportunities. So something that provides you a push like a springboard. It gives you a bigger jump to attain your targets or your objectives or ambitions. She used her college blog as a springboard into journalism. So that means that blog was like a springboard. It gave her the push to go into journalism. The contest win was a springboard to his music career. Let's see further.
That was a big impetus for me to start Purple Pebble Pictures, and so I love when, big impetus for me to
A big impetus for. A big impetus for. Impetus here means a strong push or a strong reason for an action or change. The terrorist attacks on the soil of India is a big impetus for India to take firmer and stronger military actions against Pakistan. So that means it's a big reason for Indian military to take that action. His breakup was a big impetus for self-growth. So only after the breakup that he was pushed into improving himself and growing himself as a person. The new government policy gave a big impetus to electric vehicle sales. That means the new government policy is pushing the sales of electric vehicles. So that was all about today's lesson. I hope that you enjoyed it and I was able to explain the words and phrases to you. Just try to grab a hold on them, practice them enough, consciously pick one phrase for a day and try to use them, push those phrases into your conversations. In no time, you are going to hold a mastery over their usage. If you have liked this lesson, then please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also hit that bell icon there, because this is what is going to give you the notifications about the upcoming video lessons. I'll see you next time with another lesson. Till then, happy learning.